and welcome to another episode of Buzzed, a show where I sit down and talk to bees about what it's like to be a bee in modern day society. Today, we're going to have three very special guests on the show, each bringing a different perspective. I'm very excited and very impatient, so let's jump right into it. First, we have the head honcho of the hive, the queen bee. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So, first question. They say that bees shouldn't be able to fly. They say that your wings are insufficient to get your fat little bodies off the ground. You, however, clearly do it anyways. So, how do you feel about that?
Frankly, I'm appalled by the fact that people still doubt our ability to fly. We've been doing it for years, decades even. Our wings aren't the standard up and down, rigid wings that people would usually assume. The top edge of our wings move forward and backward in a short sweeping motion, with the rest following kind of like a flag in the wind. That way we get enough lift to, as you said, get our fat little bodies off the ground.
Right. I read once that bees don't have lungs. Is this true?
Yes, you'd be right about that. We breathe in an entirely different way than you do. You see, we take in air through openings segmented around our bodies, and it flows through us without boundaries like your veins or arteries. No, our air moves freely through any unoccupied space in our bodies. The thoughtfulness of these questions is unquestionable. Have you ever considered becoming an interviewer?
You know what? No, actually, I haven't. Thank you. Last question for you. You have kids, right? I'm sorry if this seems crude or inappropriate, but what's the mating process like?
Yes, I have many children. Every bee in my hive is bred and raised by me. I find your hesitation humorous, as we don't have the same kind of stigma around this sort of topic as you do, but if you insist, I can explain it. Without being too technical, each drone gets a chance to mate with me as I see fit, and once this is over, the drone's abdomen is ripped apart by the process, and the drone either dies on the spot or is ejected from the hive, having fulfilled its purpose. I'd say I feel bad for them, but this is the way of the honeybee. We can always make new ones.
Yeah, I'm sure you can. The queen is probably going to be very busy with the new hatch of larvae for a while, so let's move on to the worker bee, shall we? We see it in our cupboards and in the supermarket, but I don't know if many people really know where honey comes from. Could you shed some light on that?
Yes, I spend all day collecting nectar, and then they take it and sell it off to profit. But that's okay, the workday never ends for a worker bee. The honeying process is easy enough to understand. Me and the other workers bring the nectar home and deposit it in the honeycomb. It breaks down into simple sugars. Our wings fan the sugars, they evaporate, they become sweet, sticky honey. I love it, I hate that you love it too. Next question.
So, regarding the last question, how do you gather the nectar that eventually becomes honey?
People only ever want to hear about work, but such is the job of the bee. We land on the flower, we extend our proboscis.
Your what?
Proboscis, a tube where our mouth is for funneling nectar.
Right.
This would be quicker if you were prepared. We insert it into the stamen, where the nectar is. The nectar is sucked into our crop, little sac in our exterior around here, and then we head home. The end. Next question, if you don't mind.
I would hope that relocation doesn't happen often, but if it does, how do you work through that? Like, what's the process of getting to one place?
I only get one question that isn't about work. No, it's fine, just fine. We start by making a new queen, feeding a larvae royal jelly, waiting for it to mature. Once it's mature, half of us take off with the old queen. We camp out and protect the queen while some others find a new spot to settle. When they find it, we move in. I'm too hive deep right now. A vet. I'm glad you picked me in an interview.
Thank you for your time. You seem to have so little of it. I will now let you get back to work as we bring in our last guest, the drone bee. So I just interviewed your queen and a worker bee, and now I have some questions for you.
Sure, go ahead. I mean, I had a nap planned after this, but you can ask me a couple questions.
Great. Well, I was wondering, what do you guys do to stay alive through the winter?
See, maybe we survive, but it's not living. We go into our hives real deep, all the way down there, and then we huddle like real close, all packed in there. And you'd think we just stay there till it gets warm, right? Nah, everyone starts to vibrate like really fast. Something about friction and kinetic energy, I don't know. Anyways, we chill in there for a little bit until it's warm, like 50 Fahrenheit, and then we come back out and get to work. Well, you know, they all get to work. I just sit back and slurp some sweet honey.
Interesting. How do bees communicate with each other? Do you have special lingo, any slang that you can clue us in on?
I love telling people this part. See, we don't have mouths and voices like you do, so we kind of have to improvise a little. Number one, the workers have this little dance that they do that tells the other workers where to find flowers. They shake their abdomens real fast, flapping their wings and buzzing too. There's a whole lot of thought that goes into it, and every detail of the dance says something a little different about where all the nectar's at. We also talk a little through pheromones, so like smells. The queen, the beauty that she is, keeps the workers focused on working, and us drones focused on, well, her through her pheromones. She has some great pheromones, you know.
Right. How do you feel about the Bee movie?
I think I have to have a lawyer with me for this one. No, okay, never mind. It doesn't matter. I'll let you in on a little secret. We actually funded that movie. Yeah, it was like a misinformation thing. Have you ever noticed that, like, none of it is actually accurate? Well, among all that confusion, we slipped a couple things in there. The bee uprising, that's a lot sooner than you think. I'm not gonna be around for it, but that's fine. I'm cool with just sipping some honey.
Thank you, Drone Bee. I'm sure you'll have a nice long time to relax with your honey, at least until mating season. That's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's insight into the life of bees, and I hope to see you all next time when we'll discuss, for today's fashion-forward bee, black or yellow. Thanks for tuning in.